Good evening, parents. Welcome to tonight's town hall meeting. I'm Valerie Abrahamian with Advocates for Angels, and I am the IEP navigator, and I assist parents to get the special education program their child needs to thrive, both in school and in life after high school. So tonight I want to talk about virtual instructional academic time that teachers are required to provide, the minutes that they're required to provide. This is what I've been talking about over the past week or so. Schools are opening all over California and across the nation. So there are requirements set by Congress, the United States Department of Education, that are requiring schools to provide live virtual instruction, and they're mandated to provide a certain amount of minutes. So in California, which I'm in California, it's called Bill SB 98, and that's for California regulations. So if you're in another state, you need to find out what your state is requiring, but it's going to be something pretty similar to what California's SB 98 is saying, which is they must provide a half day, a minimum day, which is half the time of a typical school day. And those need to be live instructional minutes taught by your teacher every day online. And also the required days of a school year is also continuing to be mandated. So however many days your district's provided to have your child in school on a typical school year, those are still required for virtual school year, which is 2020-2021 school year, right? So because we don't know when we're going to reopen. So everything's pretty much remaining the same. You should expect the same thing, only now it's going to be provided in a virtual model or in another manner, according to the Congress, that they must provide your child's IEP in a virtual model or in another mode. So I want to pull up here something that we're going to work off of today. That is because I want to give you a visual, parents. Let me plug in my computer. So this is basically the SB 98 requirements for live instructional minutes. So I highly recommend parents you take a picture of this. This is going to assist you greatly when you develop your parent agenda for your IEP meeting that I hope you have called to have very soon, because you're going to be wanting to discuss your child's virtual plan. Okay, so according to SB 98, every local school district is required to provide a minimum day of 230 virtual instructional minutes. Now, 230 is for grades 1 to 3. 180 minutes is for TK in kindergarten, and 240 instructional minutes is for grades 4 to 12. So you're just going to fill in the blank there of whatever your child is. 1 to 3, 230, TK to kindergarten is 180, and grades 4 to 12 is 240 virtual minutes. Okay, so required to provide a minimum day of whatever it is, your child, virtual instructional minutes scheduled under the immediate physical supervision of a certified employee, meaning it has to be a credentialed certified teacher. Or it must be it could be a speech and language pathologist, one of your service providers. They have to be a certified employee. Pursuant to Educational Code, California Ed Code 42502, small c, school districts and special day classes must offer 180 days of instruction. If a school district fails to meet the annual instructional day requirement in the fiscal year of 2020-2021, that school district will be subject to a fiscal penalty. So parents, that gives you the power, because this is California Ed Code right there. I gave it to you, 42502 small c, that says that if your school district doesn't provide your child with this amount of daily instructional minutes, and your child education virtual plan is not overseen by a certified employee, then they are violating the regulations for virtual schooling, and your school district can be subject to a fiscal penalty. Now, how would you hold them accountable to that? You're going to hold an IEP meeting. You're going to put in your parent agenda that you are concerned. And so I wrote out an example of something you might say, but you're going to fill in the blank of what your particular situation is. So you would say something like, I am concerned that to date, my son's academic instruction has consisted of 30 minutes of social emotional interaction with the class, meaning that the teacher comes on, she asks questions of the kiddos. How are you doing? Did you go to a vacation? What are you doing this weekend? How is your pet? How are you doing at home? How are you feeling? Blah, 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 blah. Just saying hello, having kids talk to each other and say hi on virtual. 30 minutes of that, that's not academic instruction. And 30 minutes of story time where the teacher reads a story for the entire 30 minutes without any live virtual instruction. That is what this parent has been receiving so far. So none of that is virtual live academic instruction, parents. That is not teaching. So that teacher is violating the requirements under SB 98 and California Ed Code 42502 small c. So you would want to then explain during these 30-minute sessions, my son's goals and accommodations are not implemented. Therefore, my son is not receiving his educational benefit, nor is my son's IEP being provided. I have already voiced my concern regarding regression due to March, April, and May 2020, when my son's IEP was not implemented. Continuing to fail to provide him with academic instruction and IEP implementation will further his regression and loss of skills. So that is the parent explaining that, hey, school district, not only is your teacher not providing their required virtual instructional minutes now so my child can start learning, but they've already regressed from March, April, May, and June of last year, which this parent already informed them in a previous IEP meeting. And so she's saying he's already regressed then, and he's continuing to regress now because there's no teaching happening. So, and then she's saying continuing to fail to provide him with academic instruction and provide his IEP, what it says in the IEP, which is working on the goals, implementing the accommodations, that is going to cause further regression and loss of skills. And then she makes her requests. I am requesting a visual schedule to include academic instruction and related services with links to each. So parents, you have the right to ask right now. You don't have to wait for an IEP meeting. Send an email and request your visual schedule that's going to be laid out what to expect during your child's virtual day. So from 9 to 9:30, there's going to be, whatever it may be, it just depends on your child's grade, right? So if they're young, it's going to be, opening time, saying hello, calendar, whatever. Or if it's high school, it's going to be first period is math, and then moving through the day. And then where are the services going to be implemented? What time? Where's the link to that speech and language pathologists because every discipline is going to have a different link. Every teacher is going to have a different link. And you guys are going to be scrambling to, where's that email with the link to the speech pathologist? Oh, where's the email to the link to the science teacher? So they are obligated to provide you, parents, with a schedule of your child's day with the links there. Now, not only should you be asking for your own visual schedule, you should be asking for a visual schedule for your child. So if your child is young, if they have autism, it depends on, every visual schedule is different. I mean, every kiddo should have a visual schedule if they're on an IEP, even not in virtual learning, right? Because visual schedules help kids to organize, help them to look and see what's coming next. What can I expect in my day today? And they have some sense of control over their day. It also builds independent skills because they will be able to take responsibility for what am I doing now? They're learning, this is what I'm responsible for now. Oh, at 9:30, it teaches time too. And they start realizing, time frames. At 9:30, I'm going to move on to this or that. If it's a child that's maybe can't read yet, it's going to have a picture of the teacher, the science teacher, or a picture of science. And then it's going to say science class, from 9 to 9:30. So you're going to individualize your visual schedule. They're going to, not you. Your team is going to individualize your visual schedule for your child according to your child's needs and your child's academic levels. Okay. So those are two, you should ask for that, as I said, right now, because it's going to help you and your child in the transition to virtual schooling. This is a transition period we're in now, parents. Parents are getting used to this new way of education. Kids are transitioning and getting used to, oh my gosh, school's online now. I sit at home and I see my teacher and my classmates on a computer now. And they're trying to get that concept now. It's a transition period. Teachers are also in a transition period. They're figuring it out. They're learning how to teach virtually. So we're all figuring it out. So this is going to assist you to ask for that schedule. And then there's another questions that the parent now has to the IEP team. When and how will my son's IEP goals and accommodations be implemented? You have the right to ask that questions, parents, because when are the goals going to be worked on? Who is going to be working on the goals? When in the day are they going to be working on the goals? How are they going to be working on the goals? These are excellent questions because guess what, parents? When you ask these questions, it holds them accountable and makes them realize, oh my gosh, parent is wanting us to know when this is going to happen. They're going to be more on the ball, on their toes to make sure that they start working on your goals because you're asking that question. Because believe me, parents, they're not working on the goals. They are still trying to figure it out. That's the last thing they're thinking about are your child's goals. Yet the IEP needs to be implemented. It's a legally binding document. IDEA wasn't waived. They must be implementing your IEP. Ask these kinds of questions. Oversee your IEP team. Ask when the accommodations are going to be implemented, how the accommodations are going to be implemented and embedded into the virtual day. Know what your child's accommodations are. Know what your child's goals are. Probably, most likely, every kid is going to need additional accommodations now because of virtual school. You're going to have to add different things. Maybe your child's going to need extra time now because it's virtual school, extra time to turn in assignments, extra time for processing time, whatever. Whatever your child needs, you have the right to ask for additional accommodations because now we're in the virtual model and many things are going to come up that are going to impede your child from accessing the curriculum and learning online. And then going on with some more questions. How will the IEP team address my child's behaviors that impede his learning and ability to sit and learn at the computer? This is the biggest question I'm getting from parents every day. My child cannot sit and learn at a computer. They run away, they have a tantrum, they escalate in behaviors, they can't do this. I'm hearing it all the time, parents, and I totally understand and I totally get it. Our kiddos haven't transitioned yet to understand now this is school and now I have to sit and follow directions this way by looking at my computer and seeing my teacher online. Believe me, I understand, but a lot of kids and kids with autism are starting to get it, are starting to be successful. Every day they sit a little longer, a little longer, a little longer. It's going to be a transition period, parents. It's not going to happen right away. So don't get frustrated. Keep going, keep trying, keep working, because we can do this. We have to, because otherwise our child is not going to receive their education. But that being said, it is not your problem to figure out how to make sure your child does this. Okay, it's not all on you. Okay, you know, have somewhat of a responsibility to help, to assist, but it's the school district's responsibility to write in an additional goal. How are they going to assist your child? How is the aid? And then that's the next question is how is the aid going to assist my child in learning? And how are they going to prompt my child to stay on task, to continue to listen, to answer the questions, to follow directions? How is the aid going to be prompting when it's a virtual situation? And I've seen lots of creative things coming up with how aids are being utilized to assist children. Sometimes they go to a breakout room with the aid, and it's the child and the aid is prompting the child to complete whatever the assignment was. Some aids are actually on a telephone, on an iPhone, and they have their face on there, and they're actually talking to the child while the teacher is teaching the class online, and they just are the child is muted so the child can hear the so the class doesn't hear the aid prompting the child. But it's the school district's responsibility to figure it out. It's not your responsibility to figure it out. That's why you're going to put it in your parent agenda, and you're going to put it back on them. How are you, the IEP team, going to address this problem? Whatever your problem is, you're going to bring it to your IEP team and ask them to find a solution. Okay. How will the IEP team assist my son to access the curriculum online? How will the IEP team address his behaviors that impeded his learning and ability to sit and learn at the computer? I just reviewed that. And how will my son's aid support him in virtual schooling? And I just talked about that. So this is where we're at. We have to be creative. But parents, if you don't hold them accountable, if you don't hold an IEP meeting, if you don't create your parent agenda and write it down, because once you write it down and you give it to them a few days before your IEP, that becomes a piece of legal evidence that these were your requests, these were your concerns, they're required to address them and give you an answer and find a solution. Make sure in your IEP meeting that they have a discussion, they write it down in the notes, and they find a solution and they document the solution. And that's how you start to hold them accountable as we move through this transition period. Now, I want to add, I just remembered there's one caveat to the SB 98 up here, and these requirements for virtual minutes and instructional minutes. The school district will not be held accountable, parents, until September 1st. So right now, that's why they're still kind of willy-nilly about minutes, about getting online, about implementing the IEP, because the state gave them a pass, and they're not holding them accountable until September 1st. So it's kind of like I said, it's a transition period. So hopefully by September 1st, most kids are going to have gotten it, are going to know this is how we're doing schooling now. Teachers will be more secure in teaching online. And because on September 1st, you expect your IEP to be implemented and them to be working on goals, accommodations, and you're getting all of your services and those instructional minutes at that level that I just gave you are going to be implemented. Okay, so that is my spiel for tonight, parents. And I know everybody is experiencing problems and having challenges with all of these things, but here is your solution. Here is how you address it. And these are the things that you do. So who has questions, and what are you experiencing now, parents, in your virtual schooling?
Valerie, first of all, excellent document. You know,
Thank
that's going to be very helpful to
Thank
all
you.
parents, because
Yes.
I think a lot of parents know that that's required,
Yes.
and that's going to be huge in their next IEP to request this. I also wanted to talk to you about the device for online learning. I did call the district today. They said they still don't know when it could be provided. The thing is that we're using an iPad for his device, and everything that the teacher is assigning for him doesn't work on an iPad. It only works on a Chromebook. So he cannot be assessed. He cannot do any of his homework. He cannot do his classwork. He can't do the iReady that's being assigned, the iReady app for English, for language arts and math. So he's not able to access any of that. And we're now going into the third week of school, and he still doesn't have what he needs to address what the teacher wants him to do. And when I asked the teacher, of course, her answer is, I don't know, I don't know, I have no idea.
Mm-hmm. So that's not okay, like we've been saying. But the thing is that now they have this pass until September 1st, although they were supposed to have provided every child with a device on the first day of school. So I would be reluctant to file a complaint yet until September 1st, because by September 1st, every kiddo better have their device, their correct device. Which is definitely not best practices, is definitely not in best interest of the child, because it's a new device. So, you're going to throw a new device at a kid on the first day of school on September 1st, and they're not even used to it yet. Of course, it would have been better for them to have it 3 weeks prior. So then they're used to, that's their new virtual device. So, but, they got their pass.
Can I in a letter say, my grievance, just and then say they still haven't provided, they provided the school a daily schedule, the weekly schedule, but they still have not provided a visual schedule, which, like you said, is important for an autistic child, so they can visually see their day.
Yes.
And then also I wanted to say, that the main, Theo is supposed to mainstream 120 minutes a week, which he's doing, but it started yesterday, and the teacher, the minute when Theo went on for the first time yesterday, the teacher did not even acknowledge him, nothing, didn't even introduce him to the class. There was no acknowledgement whatsoever. And then today it was exactly the same thing. I don't expect the teacher to stop what she's doing, but I did expect it on the first day to say, oh, we have a visit, someone that's going to be joining our class, because it did start 3 weeks into the school year. But so I was very, disappointed with that. And then, so now we did it today, we did it yesterday. The teacher is, they're doing things that that, you know, Theo's not interested. And then she's very, she's not animated. She's not energetic. She's very, she speaks in a monotone voice, you know, so Theo, you know, after he's supposed to do this 20 minutes a day, every day. Now I'm just wondering, I know this is in his IEP and I want it for him in, during the regular school year, but during online learning, it's not beneficial, especially when she doesn't include him. I don't expect her to include him in the academics, but I do expect her to say, "Hi, Theo, welcome," and then, you know, that's good enough for me.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
what do I do as far as that goes? Do I change the teacher? Do I?
No, we can address it. We can address that. You know, there are requirements for inclusion. You don't just act like the child's not a member of the class and ignore them completely. She's not meeting her requirements as that teacher during that time. He's a member of the class during that time. And she needs to, she's also required to implement accommodations and work with him. And she's not fulfilling that. So yeah, you absolutely have a right to make that statement, and that teacher needs to change how she's providing those 20 minutes.
Okay, so should we just wait for the IEP to discuss that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Because that's a definite discussion that should be had, and it'll be difficult to do in an email. Yep.
Okay. I talked about it with the teacher. I discussed it with the teacher today. I said, "Oh, I'm not sure. I don't know if I should have." But I did say, you know, I'm a little concerned with the mainstreaming, and I'm not sure. But you know, I don't know. Should I have said that or not?
You talked to the actual general ed teacher.
No, I talked to his teacher, his special needs.
Okay. Okay. No, that's fine. Yeah, because she's the case carrier.
Yeah.
So you could absolutely bring your concern to the case carrier. Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. Yes. I don't think she's going to do anything.
No.
But,
she just, oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, she'll just say she's sorry and then not do anything. But yeah, that's always the first go-to is your case carrier. And then if you don't get resolution with the case carrier, then you bring it to either the principal or your program specialist.
Okay.
But we're going to have an IEP meeting, and the ultimate place to discuss it is the IEP meeting, because then it's documented in a legal document and they have to address it and change it there.
Okay.
Anything that happens outside of an IEP doesn't have to be done because it's not documented.
Yes.
They're not held accountable. You can bring your concerns, but they don't have to really, they're not held accountable to do anything about it.
No. So right now, should I just write a letter addressing my concerns, or just wait for the
Those concerns about the device, absolutely.
Okay. And then visual schedule, absolutely.
Yes. Those two things, absolutely. Write an email now.
Okay.
Yes. Because those two things, that's not an IEP team discussion. That's a requirement.
Yes.
That should have already been done.
Would that be a Belinda thing? That's an ABA thing, isn't it? A visual schedule? Isn't that an ABA?
Yep. She would probably be the one, but sometimes they put it on the case carrier, the teacher. So just CC everybody. Just address it to your case carrier and then CC the team and let them figure out who's going to do it.
Okay.
And I'd also make sure that the assistive technology specialist is CC'd on it, because it's a device issue, even though she's not responsible for the virtual schooling devices. But, you know, she can sometimes pull strings and find out and inquire and stuff.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anybody else have a comment about what's happening with virtual schooling? Is that you, Barbara?
Yes, that's me.
Hi,
Oh my goodness. How are you?
I'm good. How is it going in virtual schooling?
She's going to start on Monday,
Okay,
but you see, because of the school that she's going, her virtual is very organized, and I'm gonna forward you the stuff so you can see how her school is doing everything.
good.
And I think I mean, they're very organized, very, very. And today, today they had all the kiddos at different times to come in, and they had everyone pick up all their books, hotspots, whiteboards, everything that they're going to need. They provided everything for each kid.
Wow, amazing.
So,
Because you're in a non-public
public
school.
school, exactly.
That's why. And the non-public and private schools are doing amazing. And they
Yeah.
were even back in March, April, and May. So they picked up the ball and ran with it, and they were on it. But this is what's so frustrating is if non-public schools and private schools can do it, why can't public schools do it? And so
I
when
can
they give us these excuses and these whiny teachers that, oh, it's so hard and I'm working so hard and I can't do it. It's a bunch of bull because all other non-public schools and private schools are doing it and they're doing it well.
Well, I can tell you the reason that I have not been able to like come to the meetings or whatever is because right now I have a total of 12 moms that the kiddos have not received equipment. They have not contacted them.
Yeah.
They have not responded with the prior written notice for all of my kiddos because they did not, most of them summer schools. That's what I'm doing right now as far as that, because the kids are going to start Monday and they haven't even contacted the parents, give them any equipment, nothing. they're
I
telling the they're telling the parents there's no equipment. I'm like, why there's no equipment if you guys got a bunch? And especially with San Diego Unified, I know how much they got. So
Yes.
I'm like, oh, you got this amount, this is how much you got, so how come the kiddos are not receiving?
Right.
you
What did
guys
they do with the funding?
you guys knew back and so that
Mhm.
we might not going back. You got all these federal money, you got all this.
Yep.
Where's the equipment? Oh, it's a back order. Okay, so if the
Yeah.
kids are now is what the letters that I send is like, okay, if the kids don't have the equipment the first day, we're
Mhm.
gonna wait until we get it, and then we're gonna have to we're gonna request comp ed,
Right.
and
Right.
everyone's gone silent too.
Right. Yeah, so just know that as of September 1st, you have every right to request, comp ed and hold them accountable to not giving the device, not providing services, not providing academic time, all of that. So, you don't even know yet what it's going to look like because you haven't started yet, but I'm sure it's not going to look good.
Well, I'm gonna go on Monday. I'm gonna go with one particular mom, so I'm gonna be observing what's supposed to be like. I'm
Good.
gonna start with one, and I'm gonna go with each of them one day to observe what exactly they're gonna be doing with each of them. Because first of all, the parents don't even know. They didn't even train the parents how to use this equipment, and they have their own like iPads or whatever. So, and the parents didn't even know what to log in. They don't speak English, so they expect them to follow instructions they can't even understand.
Yes. They can request parent training,
Oh,
technology training.
I requested for all of them,
Good.
and
But they didn't
I
get
have
it.
not they haven't received no answers, no
Mhm.
answers, none, nothing. And I have CC everybody from the director of special ed,
Good.
even to the SELPA director, like all of them.
Good. Good.
Every time I sing, so they're aware of what's going on and what's coming
Yes.
too.
Yes. Good. Good. Well,
So
you're taking all the right steps and, you know, they're not, but you are.
it's unbelievable what they're doing to these parents.
I know.
It's just not okay.
I know. I know. But the parents that, are advocating and holding them accountable, those kids, they'll do something about, they'll get help. And the parents that just sit back and complain and don't do anything, it's just going to be more of the same. Their kids
Yeah.
are going to get educated.
Hey, have you heard about this? Some districts are going to be using some kind of system that is called Bloxy that will allow the district staff to remotely access the students' computers to take control over the computers when the students need help.
No, I haven't heard of that.
Yeah, that's the new one. So
How do you spell it?
Yeah, our school district, that's what they do. They have all computers have a ID number,
Okay.
and the techs are able to access their computers to help with whatever they need, as they do with teachers. That's what they do with teachers.
Oh,
Yeah, but
nice.
how comfortable you feel that they can turn on and off the computer whenever they want to?
Well, if it's the district computer, then it's
Yeah,
perfectly fine. It doesn't have any personal information on there.
No.
So, and it's the district's, property. So that's okay. But I certainly wouldn't give them, their ability to, go into my own computer.
yeah. Some parents are not very comfortable because they feel that they don't feel comfortable having the government having access to their kids' devices. You know,
Well,
because
they
if
have to look at it the other way. It's
yeah,
going to assist them to learn better because the kids aren't going to know how to do it. And all that's on there is educational information
yeah.
and teaching and lessons. So, they're not going to access anything that they shouldn't be accessing. So that's fine.
Yeah.
There's no credit card numbers or anything.
No.
Like that.
Yeah.
And they just make it easier to help when a child doesn't know how to go on an assessment like iReady, and then the district can go on and help them log on to an assessment or an app or whatever the
Yeah.
child needs. Yeah.
So some parents are having issues with that. So I was like, okay, I don't have time for that one. You guys on your own on that one because I have to deal with this one. I need
Well,
to help
just
my
explain to
nuns.
them.
Yeah,
Explain to them
I
that it's
have.
only a good thing, not a bad thing.
Yeah. Yeah, but these are this is the parents that speak English, not my Hispanic parents. I think I told them, you guys figure that out on your own because I need to concentrate on these parents that I have right now.
Mm-hmm. So what is it called, Liz? Blossy? Is that the same one you have?
I don't think we have a name for it. I just
Okay.
know that that the minute you start to work for a school district, or that when it's very helpful, it's lovely. They
Yeah.
you call, you have a problem, they get on your computer and they fix it, whatever it is.
Yeah. Okay.
And but now for the students, I think it's just a helpful tool.
Yes. Yes.
It's called Bloxy, Bloxi.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So if you guys want to look into it, I know some parents they just brought it up to my attention yesterday, but I was like, I'm so
Interesting.
busy helping this that I'm like, okay, I don't know. We'll get to that one later because I need to take care of this.
Okay. Well, that's good to know.
And
Because that would even be, they could do training for the child in real time.
Oh,
if they
yeah.
have it on
Exactly.
the computer. So
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Once I find out more, I'll let you know as far as San Diego and then the area surrounding me. I'll get more information and send you that. And the other thing that I'm working on is after gone to this whole mediation due process is that I have learned that a lot of the attorneys, when you do these contracts, if you don't read in detail what it says, basically most of these contracts let you know that they'll take you to mediation, and after mediation, you're on your own. If you decide that you don't agree to mediation, if you decide to move on to due process, basically you have to pay some of these attorneys charge $10,000 per day. You gotta pay for the experts and all these different things because now all these other parents that are going through due process before me and after me, we're all comparing contracts, and we're like, wait a minute. I thought you took the case knowing that we wanted to go to due process, and now you don't want to go due process. You want us to settle mediation, and you're telling me that
But that's because you guys are using the wrong attorneys. It's not that way all the time.
I know.
That's not
I know.
the typical process. You're using the wrong attorneys.
Exactly. But I'm not the next thing after I'm done with these parents is I need parents to be I'm creating a PowerPoint or whatever you want to call it, So parents understand if you're going to hire an attorney, read at this contract. And if you see these comments, it's a red flag that this attorney, you should not be hiring them.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Because there's nothing there. And right now I have right now a total of 13 different contracts and 13 different attorneys here in San Diego.
Mm-hmm.
And it's unbelievable that you think, okay, yeah, you're going to fight for me, you're going to be due process. And then you get there and they're like, well, we're going to have to settle here in mediation, because if you don't agree, from this point on, you have to give me this much a retainer, and it's going to cost you so much a day.
Unethical attorneys that are stealing money from parents.
Yes.
I saw one of the settlement agreements that one of those attorneys did, and in San Diego, and she completely screwed over the mom and the kid, and she didn't get anything for them, and she actually tied the parents' hands for because you sign away your rights when you sign a settlement agreement anyway, and and she just completely messed up this mom. And so now the mom can't even hold an IEP meeting until the IEE is completed, and it's not even the IEE that she provider that she wants to have. So these attorneys are unethical people.
Yeah. So this is the new thing. This is my next thing after this whole nightmare that I've been through with, that I'm going to try to put together to share, because it's unbelievable that we're all going through the nightmare that I've been going through.
You need to make a list of every one of those attorneys' names and say, don't hire these attorneys. That's what needs to be done.
Yeah.
Because there are good special ed attorneys, but those that are around San Diego are not. And there needs to be a list of everyone that's done that, and that list needs to be rotated out.
Yeah, not all of them. I can't say all of them in San Diego, but quite a few are, but not all of them, thankfully.
Yeah. But the parents just need to know who are the good ones and who are not.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Because even those contracts are very difficult to understand, the attorney contracts. You always have to have an attorney to, interpret the attorney contract, because you can't trust those attorneys to explain it to you, because they won't, because they don't want you to know that. They want you to be in the situation and then just throw it at you, and you're already involved and you can't get out of it. So the names need to be given out of who not to hire.
Well, we need to see, that's another thing. After I never been through this before, and I have gone through whole experience. This is what I have learned, but I didn't know. I thought I trusted, just like I did the school district, and look, no, you can't even. You have to be very careful and actually take the time to read it, and have someone translate some of this wording, because otherwise you're hanging yourself.
That's right. Absolutely right. Yeah, and it's very unfortunate and very sad. What's happening with you, Kate? Oh, maybe you can't talk again, huh? I wish you had a computer that you could go on so I could talk to you on these meetings.
Can you hear me?
No.
Okay.
Oh, there I can.
Oh, no, no.
Oh, you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, I can. I think we can hear you okay.
If you talk slow, yes.
Okay. So far, everything's going well. He has a schedule. He meets with his
No. If you talk like you say a word and pause, it will. But if you keep it like continuously, it cuts you off.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know why. I'm sorry. Okay.
Sorry, Kate. Okay, guys. Well, I hope you took a picture of this. I'll leave it up for one more second, because please take a picture, and parents watching this after on the replay, because you're going to be able to use this in your IEP meeting, especially this first paragraph right here has all the very important legally binding information. Okay.
Yes.
And parents, be sure to mark your calendars for September 17th at 5:00 p.m. Pacific time, when I'm going to be hosting the Advocacy Roundtable. It's going to be featuring Mark Levine, a retired special education judge, as well as other advocates and attorneys from across the nation. And we're going to be talking about none other than virtual schooling and all the problems parents are having. And we're going to be giving advice to parents on how to address those problems with your local school district and be successful in having your local school district implement your child's IEP so that your child will receive their education for this school year.
Are you going to have like a flyer or information that you can share with me so I can, you know me, I need to post it in all my pages.
Oh yeah, I'm just working with my team right now.
Okay.
I should probably have something out by Friday of this week. And I'm going to be I'll be posting on Facebook, I'll be posting on Instagram, I'll be posting on LinkedIn, and I'll have a flyer on the Advocates for Angels page. You're going to be getting emails from me. Yeah, we're going to be doing lots of marketing on this. And yeah, everybody please share it with other moms that you know, parents that you know, because we want to get as many parents as we can to help them in this situation. Because as you know, I always say this, my goal is to make sure that school districts across the nations don't dismantle IDEA, the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, because that is what they're doing. They're dismantling special education federal law in virtual schooling. They are not enforcing special education regulations. And it's up to us parents to stand up and fight against that and make sure that our rights are not violated. So
Yeah.
please come to that and share it and like it and spread it to other parents that you know.
Yeah, because I've been sharing all your town meetings. I don't know if you've seen it, that you're having a lot of views because I'm sharing in all the groups.
Thank you,
So,
Barbara.
I'm gonna, and then now they're contacting me. I'm like, contact her. Don't contact me. I'm too busy already. Contact her. I'm just sharing.
Well, tell them about the Parent Brigade, because it's, you know, it's $20 the first month. It's $39 after that. I mean, that's $39 to be able to talk to an advocate and get help so that your child gets educated. I mean, you can't get a pedicure for, $39. So, I mean, it's no other advocate is going to offer advocacy services at that low of a cost. So the Parent Brigade is such a valuable way to get help in this situation. So let them know about the Parent Brigade. It's on my both pages, Advocates for Angels and Special Education Parent Empowerment Network. So
yeah, I always put usually your meeting, your town meeting, and the link to the brigade. So
awesome. Thanks, Barbara.
So I'll be contacting you so we can do one-on-one. So I need help with a few moms that I'm having some issues.
Okay,
so,
sounds good. We'll schedule that. All right, guys, have a good night, and I'll see you on Monday morning for the Facebook Live at 10 o'clock.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.
Good night.
Good night, ladies.
Night-night.